We've spoken to you before about dishonesty. You've got a movie coming out this week titled
Dishonesty, The Truth About Lies.
That's right up the alley of a guy in the advertising business.
Oh,
The Truth About Lies. There you go. Tell us a bit about the movie.
So, you know the research we've done on dishonesty, right? So we've been tempting people to steal money from us in all kinds of little ways. So one experiment is I take a die and I say, why don't you roll it and you'll get paid based on what it comes up on. $6, $6, $5, $5, and so on. But you can get paid based on the top or the bottom. You decide, but don't tell me. So you decide and you roll it and it's 2 on the top and 5 on the bottom. And then I say, what did you decide, top or bottom? Now, if you decide bottom, you say bottom and you get $5. If you decide top, you have a conflict. Do you say the truth, top, and get $2, or do you change your mind after the fact? And we get people to do it 20 times, and what we find is that people are really lucky. It's amazing how lucky people are, but people cheat a little bit. But anyway, we've done lots of these experiments around the world in different ways, trying to see when people cheat more and cheat less. But one of the questions was, to what extent is the little cheating in the lab the same as big cheating? So together with Yael Melamed, who is a film producer and director here in New York, we invited big cheaters, insider trading, accounting, fraud, doping in sport, you name it, to come and talk to us about their dishonesty. And we didn't start with what they did at the end. We started with what was the first step they took. And what is amazing is that you look at those stories, and aside from one guy, they were all stories of slippery slopes. They're all stories that you look at the end at what these people did, and you say, I cannot imagine doing that. You look at the first step, you say, actually, I can imagine doing that.
Do you think if you looked at Bernie Madoff and you went through the whole timeline, his first step, you would have been okay with?
So I haven't been able to talk to him. I mean, he's a neighbor. He lives in North Carolina.
He's a neighbor.
But
hopefully you live in a better neighborhood.
But, you know, he's not too far. I tried to talk to him. I can't, but I did talk to his judge. Look, and his judge also doesn't believe that he planned it. Look, if you planned something like this, you would have an island with no extradition, you would have a plane, your kid would not commit suicide. Now, this took a long time. I don't know what happened toward the end, but in the beginning, I can't imagine he was planning this. This was a smart guy. If he planned it, he would have had lots of different ways to go out. By the way, the only exception in our... So we talked to many, many people. Many crooks, you know, people, dishonest people, all of us, but, you know, the people who got to these terrible things, the only exception of somebody who was not in a slippery slope was somebody who grew up in a crime family. So he was educated to basically have no morals. But even he was very interesting because he had no morals as far as the rest of the world was concerned, but he had tremendous morals within the family.
The mob mentality.
That's right. That's right. And you know, it's kind of interesting because you talk to him for a while and it looks like the guy doesn't care. But no, he cares a lot just about a subset of things. And it made me think, you know, my undergrads are not very different. Because when I ask my undergrads, how many of them have illegal downloads on their computers? They all do. And I say, how many of you
part of their culture.
That's right. So he, in this crime family, he took most of life and said, this is not moral. My undergrads only take illegal downloads and do it. But this idea that we have morality as a domain-by-domain specific way, I think is incredibly important, right? Because it means that if we want to fight dishonesty, we have to think about moral code within a particular domain. It's not about the backbone of somebody, but once you put somebody in a particular situation, things can deteriorate. Now, let me tell you the most disturbing study we've done. This is just recently. You come to the lab, and we say, look, we have 2 experiments today. In one of them, you can make at most $4. You roll the die, but the most you can make is $4. In the other one, you can make $40. They say, flip a coin, and we'll see which one you get. You flip a coin, and no matter what you flip, we said, oh, you got the low-ending one. And then the research assistant says, psst. He said, come here. Listen, my boss is not here right now, so I'll tell you what. If you'll pay me $2, if you'll give me the $2 you got to pay for the bus fare, I'll pretend you got the other coin flip.
And?
So we're asking them for a bribe. How many people give the bribe? What do you think? What percentage of the people give the bribe?
What do you guess?
I'm afraid probably about 60.
Whoa. I was going to say something in the 30s.
I'll go in the middle. You know, I'm going to go 90.
90.
Oh, no way.
You can't be happy. This is not a happy result,
no.
right? It's
no
terrible.
Way.
It's terrible. And what happens? And what happens once people bribe? They cheat and steal much more after that.
Yeah.
And this is incredibly disturbing, right? Because mostly people are honest. I mean, people lie a little bit, but they don't lie too much. But the moment you bring them to a system...
Once they've crossed the threshold.
No. The moment you bring them to a system and you said, this is a corrupt system, because remember, it's the experiment who said, hey, why don't you give me a bribe? All of a sudden, people, as if they forget everything they've learned and transition. So imagine you go to a new job, you got elected, whatever it is, you come to a new position, and all of a sudden, somebody there tells you the system is not...
All right,
designed...
Andrew, all of your research, all of your focus group data, worth nothing. There you go. That was our big reveal for the end of the show. Wow.
Terribly distressing, right?
Is this any of this a surprise to you?
It actually isn't, because I think we all operate in this tiny little world that surrounds our own head. So as those standards keep moving, and if you learn that the system that you're operating in is corrupt, I suspect that's how people behave.
Yeah. By the way, my research center is called the Center for Advanced Hindsight. and the reason is exactly like this, because the moment you hear a result, you said, yes, I knew it all along. So it's a little reminder.
And it makes me think a superstar athlete or team that everybody loves, they could cheat and not realize, hey, how I can behave. All right.